As of today, June 11th, 2023, we have received some unfortunate news about Kingda Ka and its current operational status, which raises questions in my head about the ride's future as a whole. According to a post by Coaster Hub on Instagram, it says the following: the launch cable for Kingda Ka at Six Flags Great Adventure has snapped. Although there were people on board, no riders were injured, and the train safely rolled back. It is unclear how long the ride will be shut down for, but we hope to see it back up and safely operating as soon as possible. Jeez. There were riders on board during Kingda Ka's second cable snap. Honestly, it was just a miracle that nobody was hurt. But it could have been a major accident if the cable flew the wrong way after it was snapped. The fact that nobody was injured is assuring, but after all, the responsibility is on the park and maintenance crew to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen even in the first place, because there's no need to take that risk to let an accident happen and then just hope out of luck that nobody gets injured. This is the exact same situation with El Toro's first accident, where nobody was injured, but that was just out of luck, and the maintenance crew should be proactive to make sure this stuff doesn't happen. So far, Six Flags Great Adventure has only been reactive when it comes to ride maintenance and malfunctions. I don't know if you all know this, but Kingda Ka also had a cable snap in 2005, a few months after the ride first opened to the public, and now its second one occurred again after they literally just got a new cable. After the first cable snap, it only took 2 months to get a new cable to replace the old one. But I have a reasonable suspicion that this time is different and will take longer for not only the cable to arrive, but for the state to even approve Kingda Ka for operation again. When a cable snaps, it's no joke, and there are multiple procedures that should be taken aside from just ordering a new cable, to make sure that the new cable doesn't end up snapping as well. And knowing New Jersey and their Department of Community Affairs, they are extremely strict when it comes to ride safety, inspections, and approval, and honestly, being strict is really for the better, because it emphasizes safety rather than just rushing the ride to get back open, and then having another accident occur on it. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Six Flags Great Adventure has really been struggling with the reliability of their coasters. Granted, there are many other parks that struggle with the ride closures and unreliability, like Cedar Point, but ride malfunctions and incidents on rides, like these ones, are very uncommon over there, compared to at Six Flags Great Adventure. First, we saw El Toro have its first accident where the rear upstop wheel of the back car came above the track, causing the back car to fishtail through the layout and eventually valley right before the end of the ride. Again, out of luck, nobody was injured. Then, El Toro had its second accident, where the ride hit a pothole, causing multiple riders to hurt their backs and bite their tongues, and El Toro is even supposed to reopen sometime this week. It really seems like we had to sacrifice Kingda Ka in order for El Toro to reopen, because within the past 2 years, I have rarely ever seen those two rides open at the same time. Back to what I was saying about maintenance being proactive and reactive. When El Toro's accident first happened, the park was reactive and fixed a specific issue that caused that specific accident in order to make sure that only that particular accident doesn't happen again. But at the same time, another structural problem with the ride went unnoticed, causing another incident to occur. I sure hope that this time the park was actually proactive before they're about to open El Toro, fixing the specific issue that caused the most recent accident, along with fixing other parts of the ride that can potentially cause another type of accident, in order to prevent any sort of incident from happening again, as opposed to just putting band-aids on the problem by only replacing the parts of track that were affected by the accident. Only time will tell whether that ends up being true. In the case of Kingda Ka's cable snap, I am not 100% sure what caused it, but I do wish maintenance was more proactive in order to prevent this issue from happening, as opposed to reactive, and only ordering a new cable and other parts as a result of the accident occurring in the first place. I understand that both El Toro and Kingda Ka are extremely complex and unreliable intamins by nature. Kingda Ka, with its infamous and complex hydraulic launch system, and El Toro, with its sensitive wooden track that needs to be perfectly designed to handle extreme forces usually not found on wooden coasters. But what seems very odd to me is that Six Flags Great Adventure's maintenance used to be able to keep those two rides open and prevent it from operating without any incident or malfunction. But within the past 2 years, these rides have constantly opened and closed and have had malfunctions and incidents. Some of you might not like me for saying this, but my theory is that this all comes back to Salim Basul and his budget cuts. In the middle of the 2022 season, Salim laid off a large percentage of his employees due to low attendance and budget cuts, which also included a lot of skilled maintenance workers, so a lot of the maintenance that knew how to handle and manage rides like El Toro and Kingda Ka were laid off. And now, the new maintenance team might not exactly know how to take care of these complex monsters, causing extended closures and malfunctions. I really hope the Great Adventures maintenance settles in and is able to figure out those two rides, because Toro and Ka are arguably the two star attractions of Great Adventure, and having them currently both closed at the same time is not a good look for the park if you ask me. It's also very sad that the intimate hydraulic launch coasters used to work out a lot for all these parks, but look at Top Thrill Dragster being replaced, and Accelerator sitting SBNO for almost over a year. This makes me think that some change is happening with the maintenance team within the amusement industry, making it harder to manage this complex launch system. I'm now going to go into scenarios of what I predict the future may hold for Kingda Ka, and when there is a chance we can see the world's tallest roller coaster reopen. Since this is the second time the cable has snapped on Ka, I expect it to take a lot longer to reopen than it did when the cable first snapped in 2005. 1. Because the state is going to hold a lot more scrutiny on Great Adventure because this is the second time this happened. And 2. Because ordering new parts for roller coasters nowadays is a lot more difficult than it was back then because of the ongoing supply chain delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. If it were to reopen this season, I see it reopening sometime by the end of the summer once they get a new cable and prove to the state that they are ready to operate the ride safely. Another scenario I can see happening, and what I think is the most likely scenario, is that the ride is closed for the rest of the season and only reopens at the start of the 2024 season. I think this is the most likely scenario we can see happen, because last time when El Toro had its 2021 accident around the exact same time in June, it stayed closed for the rest of the season and only reopened on opening day of 2022. I feel like the extent of the repairs that Kingda Ka needs right now will only be able to take all the way up until the 2024 season to complete, but it will be a pleasant surprise to see the ride open this season before 2024, which I honestly hope will happen, because Kingda Ka is a huge reason I look forward to driving 2 hours south to Great Adventure. Another scenario, which I would say is very unlikely but still a little bit possible, is that the ride gets removed for good. Since the coaster is so tall and will cost so much money to remove, I doubt the park will all of a sudden decide to remove it, given the fact that they didn't remove El Toro after I had 2 accidents. And honestly, if this was Cedar Fair, El Toro and Kingda Ka would probably be in ashes by now. If Ka were to be removed, it would probably sit SBNO for a couple years until they figured out how to remove it. Let's hope this doesn't happen, as I would hate to see every single Strata coaster go extinct like this. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the future of this one-of-a-kind intimate Strata coaster, and truly hope the ride will open soon with modifications to keep the riders even more safe. I believe I have expressed my true opinions and predictions in this video, and I have no intention of clickbaiting or inciting any negative emotion and controversy. This is purely a speculation video sharing my opinions and my logical reasoning about the situation and the future of Kingda Ka. Thanks for watching, and see you all next time.